Good morning. Happy Monday. If you're in Cambridge, you are waking up to a very snowy scene. I'm very happy as a Minnesotan. This is real winter. It has finally come on March, what is it, 4th? Yes. Okay, so today's day 28 of 45 Days to Adulting. And I really wanted to address grad school because what else is such a formative experience for women and people in their 20s. Grad school can be one of the most formative and one of the biggest and most expensive decisions that we make as a 20-something human. That's not to say you couldn't go to grad school in your 30s, but it's most common to go in your 20s, mid-20s. It's most common. So I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there in our culture about why we should go to grad school, if we should go to grad school, what it means to go to grad school. And I wanted to provide, well, I mean, I'm biased just by being a human, but I'm not a grad school and I'm not your parents. So I hope that I can provide somewhat of an unbiased source of information about whether or not you should go to grad school and what to consider if you do. So who am I to talk about this? So I have been in 2 graduate programs, one of which I dropped out of. So I have a little bit of experience deciding and then maybe even making a few mistakes deciding whether or not to go. And so I was in a Master's of Integrative Health and Wellbeing Coaching program at the University of Minnesota. And I ended up dropping out of that program about 2/3 of the way through. I literally had like 2 semesters left of a 6-semester program. I dropped out, cut my losses, and reapplied to another graduate program out here at Harvard at the Grad School of Education, where I am now, which is a 1-year program. And I'm going to go over kind of my rationale in the bigger scheme of why I do think grad school can be a good idea. Okay, so I have 3 reasons why it might be a good idea. 1, you're going to learn practical skills that are useful in your career, that are actually skills that are high value that you're going to use in the future of your career. Whether those are technical skills, whether you're a researcher and you need to be in a lab and actually be doing more research, whether you're a coach and you had been working as a consultant and you actually need to learn how to coach people and how to understand our mind, body, spirit connection and how behavior change happens. So practical skills is one reason you might consider going to grad school, okay? The second reason you might consider going to grad school is for the people that you will meet while you are there or after you graduate and/or. So what I consider the brand or the network of the school. So for example, I'm just going to be blunt, like the Harvard brand and network is a top tier network. Like if you think of everyone who's ever gone to Harvard, like by going to a Harvard grad school, you are essentially paying to become part of that network. So you have to consider when you're looking at grad schools, not all are made equal, especially on the brand and network front. So if you are really looking to meet people in a new area, if you're trying to get into a new field or a new industry, if that network piece and that name piece is really going to change your outcomes, if you're trying to get into a new career, if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to network and make new connections for your business, then grad school could be worth it. And then third, grad school could be a good idea if it's really something that you need to progress in the field that you're in. So if you're, well, there are some other kind of like professional tracks, like if you're going to law school or if you're going to medical school, like you can't be a practicing medical doctor without having gone to medical school, or practicing attorney without going to law school. So those are the kinds of things where you have to have that degree to move forward. And there are some companies who just don't promote you unless you have an MBA, for example, or if you're a nurse practitioner and you really want to be, I don't know the field very well, but I know there's like a doctor or a DNP, a higher level nurse practitioner, so you can get promoted to a higher level and they won't promote you if you don't have that degree. Okay, so those are my 3 reasons why I think maybe you should consider going to grad school. If you're going to learn practical skills, if the network and name is going to help you have more opportunities in the future, and or if it's a requirement. I really think those are the only reasons to go. And you know what, the biggest one that I think people sometimes use as a reason to go to grad school that I think is a horrible reason to go to grad school is to find yourself and to discover what it is you're passionate about. Girl, that's like a 120K self-development exploration, flush the money down the toilet. And the reason that I have such a strong opinion about that is grad schools are not designed to help you find yourself, are not designed to help you understand your interests, your passions, your values. They are just not. They're not good personal development programs. There are good personal development programs out there, whether they're retreats or working with a coach or finding a professional development opportunity or literally just quitting your job and backpacking. Like, you're going to learn way more about yourself on a 6-month solo international backpacking trip that could cost you $2,000 than you ever would in a 6-figure grad program, okay? Don't go to grad school to find yourself. Okay, now you know what I think. Just don't do it. It's so expensive. Okay, and I wanted to give you, okay, I guess the other two things. It's not a free vacation because obviously it's not free and it's not a vacation. So don't think that. And the other thing is you have to consider the opportunity cost of grad school. First of all, in America, it's effed up. It is so freaking expensive, and it's not this expensive in other countries around the world if you research. So you could potentially consider going to grad school even in Europe. People do that to save money. But okay, the program that I was in, just for example, I was in a 6-semester Masters of Integrative Health and Wellbeing Coaching. 6 semesters. It was about $62K all in with like books, tuition, all of that. But then you have to think about the salary that you're missing out on. At that point, I was making 6 figures. So in total, for 2 years of my life, it was literally costing me almost $300K of lost lifetime earnings. No amount of self-discovery is worth $300,000, okay? And here at Harvard, it's, you know, probably about $60K with tuition for a year. And then with rent, paying $1,200 a month for rent, you might be living in an expensive place, still missing out on your earning potential. So it's going to be at least $100,000 wherever you go. If you think about your opportunity cost is what you could be doing with your time plus the actual expense, right? Because that's really the total cost of grad school. You have to consider both of those things when you're doing the math of like, oh, it's only a 40K degree or whatever it might be. It's like, no, but you're also probably not going to be working. Or if you are, you'll be working part-time and not earning as much money as you would have been otherwise. So you have to consider the total cost. And you have to consider, do I want to go into debt? Like, is having this debt payment for the next 10, 20 years of my life really worth these career opportunities? It might be, or you might have family, or you might have other ways to pay for school, so you're not going to incur that much debt. But you can't just think about that 1 year and that one little number, because debt, obviously, you're paying interest on that number. So again, you're either getting a network and a brand, you're getting practical skills, or you have to get that degree. It is not to discover yourself. Okay, that's it. That's my best go at like giving you the hard truth about why you should go to grad school and maybe why you shouldn't go to grad school. If you do decide to go to grad school, the other things you need to keep in mind are 1, recommendations. You have to have letters of recommendation. So keep in touch with your undergraduate professors. If you're in undergrad, go to office hours, meet your professors, do that. 2, you have to either take the GRE or the GMAT, depending on if you're going to a business school. Now business schools also accept the GRE. So the GRE is more the general one. GMAT is a little bit more technical. You're going to have to take that test. So at some point you're going to have to study for and take that test. Yeah, and the other thing that I didn't know when I first graduated is that PhDs can be free. Most PhD programs, if you get accepted into them, are free. So if you are considering getting a PhD, well, maybe you should consider getting a PhD. If you really want to be in academia, doing research, potentially working as a professor, PhD programs can be more affordable. Yeah, if you, again, think about the opportunity cost, they're 5 to 6 years. It's a lot of lost earning potential. Okay, if you guys are in grad school, I'd love to know, like, type down in here, like, why are you in grad school? What have you learned about the grad school process? Would you do it again? What other tips would you add to this? Let's make sure we all have a great open-eyed understanding of what grad school is and what grad school is not. Have a good rest of your day and a happy Monday. Bye.